What is going on, YouTube? Hope you guys are all having a great day so far. So today we're here back again to talk about the Montreal Canadiens, and today we're gonna go back again, like this morning, on the trade that happened last year, couple months back at last year's trade deadline, and we're gonna look into it, and we're gonna say if the Habs won it, if the Habs lost it, if it was a win-win trade for both teams, and we're gonna talk about the Artturi Lehkonen trade, because yes, there's been a lot of people saying, oh, look, they lost that trade. They lost that trade. They got fleeced by the Colorado Avalanche because of the way Artturi Lehkonen's been performing with Colorado Avalanche. Justin Barron was in the AHL. It wasn't looking good. But at the moment right now, it's not the same. The situation has changed a lot. And I've made multiple videos last summer talking about Justin Barron. You all know how much I love Justin Barron. I made a video saying that Justin Barron was the best Habs prospect at the blue line behind Kaiden Guhle, and I still believe it. The guy is insane. Nick Crosby even said it. You don't trade a prospect like this because he is something else. And yeah, Justin Barron is an amazing puck-moving defenseman. He's big. He has a heavy shot. He has a really, really good offensive flair. And if he can continue to progress the way he's progressing right now, he's going to be in the Habs uniform for a very, very long time. And yeah, at the start of this season, he was struggling. He looked rusty. He got sent down to the AHL. Everybody expected him to make the club at the start of the season on opening night. He did not. He ended up in the AHL. He started slow in the AHL, and then everybody was like, all right, we lost that trade. Joe Sakic and all of those guys fleeced us. You never should trade with the Colorado Avalanche because this always happens, blah, 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 blah. But the situation changed because with all the injuries, the Canadiens had to call back Justin Barron. And since he came back, he's been performing really, really well. And what's most impressive about him is that he's getting better after every game. And in my opinion, personally, he's the only rookie defenseman in the Habs lineup right now, even if you count the injuries, that did not start the season in Montreal, that wasn't in the lineup for opening night when you look at Harris, at Guhle, at Xhekaj, and all of those guys. But for me, even though he only played in 20 games, he's the one who's progressed the most. Because if you look at him in the first game he got called back, it was horrendous. Pure lack of everything. Like, he was slow in his movement. He was slow in his decision making. And now he's scoring goals. He's on the power play. He's making passes. And now he's at 7 points in 20 games. And 7 of those points are in the last 14 games. So on that pace, if he played the entire season, he would be on pace for a 40-point season. So that's definitely big, because when you have a defenseman in his rookie season that can pull up 40 points, he's going to be really good. And I can see definitely Justin Barron having some 50-point season in his career. He's definitely has what it takes offensively to be that player. And I know a lot of people are still salty about the fact that Lehkonen got traded with the goal he scored at the Saint-Jean-Baptiste in the playoff run, and even before that, because of the way he acts, because of his personality. He was one of the fan favorites here in Montreal, and he was one of the favorites in the locker room as well. So a lot of people are like, we shouldn't have traded him. And look at his statistics right now. He's on pace for 50+ points, 20+ goals. Yes, that's for sure. He was a big part of the Colorado Avalanche winning the Stanley Cup last year. He scored the goal for a second year in a row to send his team to the Stanley Cup final. He scored the Stanley Cup game-winning goal as well. So yeah, definitely Lehkonen was a big part of the Avalanche winning the Stanley Cup. And this year, he's on pace for 50+ points, 20+ goals. He's at 17 goals, 21 assists for 38 points in 52 games. So it's by far the best season of his career, because the season isn't over yet. And he still has the highest total of goal and the highest total of points. So that's for sure, yes. But Artturi Lehkonen would have never hit those statistics with the Canadiens, because they were using him on a bottom six. They were using him in defensive situations. Yes, he unlocked an offensive game, but that's because they played him in an offensive role. That would have never happened with the Canadiens, in my opinion, because he had a sticker on his head saying, play defense. And yeah, I think that playing with McKinnon, it helped him a lot. Yes, he's a good player. Yes, he's talented. He is worth a lot. And you need those guys on your team to win Stanley Cups. 110%. But I don't think he would be hitting those numbers playing with the Habs. So I think that for me personally, it helped the Avalanche win Stanley Cup. They could go deep again for a couple more years because of Lehkonen. He's going to help them a lot. But the Canadiens got a right defensive prospect that they needed. And I think that for me personally, that trade is a win-win for both teams. The Canadiens got Barron and the Avalanche got Lehkonen. The Avalanche had too many defensive prospects already. Their defense is stacked. Justin Barron would have never really got a chance to play in good minutes with that team. They flipped him to the Habs. The Habs needed a right-handed defenseman. They got it. They flipped Lehkonen. Lehkonen was the missing piece to their Stanley Cup run. And I think it's a W for both teams. I don't think that the Canadiens got fleeced at all in this trade. And I think it's a pretty fair trade. Like, it's a W for both teams. So, yeah, that's my opinion on this. Do you guys agree? You might not, because I know a lot of people would have loved to see Lehkonen stay in Montreal. I'm one of them. I would have loved seeing him stay in Montreal. But if you want to rebuild your team, you kind of have no choice but to trade some guys. Like, if you keep all the guys, the team's going to look the same, and we're going to continue not being good. If we would have kept all of those guys, we would have kept on being mid. And that's not what we want. We want to be competitive. We want to be in the mix for the Stanley Cup every year, just like Tampa Bay's been for 10 years. Pittsburgh has been for 10 years. Washington's been for 10 years. That's the type of teams we want to become. And I think that the way they've been planning things, that's what we're going to be in a couple of seasons. You need to make those sacrifices to build your team and rebuild it the way you want it to be. So I think it was a necessary move. I think that they did pretty well. I think they would have been able to get maybe a little more, maybe with a draft pick or something. But yeah, it's done. I think it's a W for both teams. And I think that the Canadiens came out of this trade with a really, really good and a future top 4 defensemen on their team for a very, very long time. So yeah, let me know what you guys all think about this in the comments below. It's been your boy Tropical Habs. Have a nice rest of your day. I'll see y'all later tomorrow with some brand new videos. Bye-bye.